risky behavior.
So I'm watching one of Jesse Lee Peterson's this is an old episode. It's an oldie but a goodie. And anybody who is familiar with Jesse Lee Peterson or watches him, you already know he doesn't believe in racism per se. He believes it's a spiritual battle, good versus evil. Um Me personally, I do know that there are people who themselves call themselves racist, right? But I can also see Jesse Lee Peterson point when he says it's a battle of good and evil, because if you make it simple and just say good versus evil, then you don't have to really worry about who's racist, who's not racist. You'll just see evil for what it is. You know what I mean? It makes it less complicated if you just see, hey, those are evil people, let me stay away from them, instead of just trying to figure out if somebody's racist or not. Because I don't, basically what I'm saying is, like, I'm one of the people where I don't feel like you would ever know if somebody is racist or not, because it's all about what's on the inside. And unless they just flat out tell you, you ain't going to know. If you could be a black person, bump into somebody white out there in the world, they could be a racist, or they could just be a butthole. They could just be having a bad day. And one of the things that I find crazy is if you ask some of these, if you ask some people, like, give me an example of racism, give me an example of when you've been discriminated against, they really can't ever give you just like a really good example, something that you can say, aha, you know what I mean? So, and so I was thinking about that, and then it reminded me of this clip, because in this clip, Jesse Lee Peterson, he's talking to these two younger people. They run with Black Lives Matter, I believe, or they either run with an organization that works with Black Lives Matter. But he asked the young lady and the young man, hey, have you been discriminated against? They say yes. He says, give me an example. And so, excuse me, I'm sorry. He asked them to give an example, and so they do. And so that brings us to this point in the video.
Lower
Have
status.
you been discriminated against?
Yes,
By whom?
by white people.
What did they do to you? Tell me what happened to you.
They told me that I needed to wear my hair a certain way in order to be groomed.
Who told you that?
All right, a supervisor.
At your job?
Yeah, at a previous job.
At a what?
A previous job. I don't work there anymore.
So you were working at this company, and you went in, you applied for the job, and you, at the time that you were applying for the job, you told them, if you pay me X amount of dollars, I would come every day, and I will follow your rules, and you took the job, right? Is that right?
Yes,
I'm sorry?
yes,
They can't hear you.
yes.
They can't hear you, Michelle. Come on. So when you agreed to do that job and follow their standards, their rules, you didn't mean it?
Yes, I did, but culture is,
You didn't mean
everybody
it?
has different culture.
So you meant to follow their rules. Did you know about the hair deal before taking the job?
No, they said, right,
They said what?
groomed means you got up and you did your hair, you did your face, you're aware of your whole appearance, right?
Right. And so you went in there with what, an afro or something?
Something similar.
What you did? What you go in there with?
With a ponytail with the afro and a little bang in the front.
And they
pretty
said,
nice.
no, you can't wear that hairstyle.
They said it's just not it doesn't look professional, and they just made a recommendation, but they didn't say, oh, our rules prohibit you, but they said, oh, look, I just want to make a nice recommendation.
Right. And did they have a right to make that recommendation?
No, they didn't have a right.
Did they own the company?
No, they did not own the company.
Who owned the company?
The owner nobody owned the company.
Somebody have to own the company.
Nobody, it wasn't a company.
These people can't communicate. These are the wrong folks up here.
Oh, wow.
I'm not getting the real answers or anything.
I think you've
Where'd you
gotten
get
some
these
very
people
clear.
from?
Excuse me, sir.
You
Can
guys
you
are not
offend
even
my-
communicating. I thought this was going to be like
Can you not
that.
offend my intelligence while I'm sitting right in front of you? You asked me for clear answers. I gave you clear answers.
I thought this
you
was gonna-
choose to have
But
a
you guys are
discussion
not
with
even
the sister
discussing.
because
I'm trying to get some understanding to what is wrong and what we can do about the problem. But you guys won't really.
Okay, I can
you're
tell you,
communicate
you're
going off
and
the
telling me-
discussion and
You're
asking her
focusing
about her
on problem,
upbringing and
but you're
we
not
didn't talk
focusing
about
on the
her
solution,
upbringing.
right?
And we'll get to
And
that.
you want to know what the solution would be?
No, we need to find out what is the problem. Have you been discriminated against? Who discriminated against you, and why?
I've been discriminated
Well,
against. I've been
it
told
was the
that I had to
policy
get a
that
haircut.
allowed the recommendation to even come in. So it's policies that are created that people have to go by that perpetrate discrimination.
Was this with a private business that you were working for at
No,
the
it was
time?
not
Was it a
private
government
business.
business?
Yes, it was.
And so the government rules are you can wear your hair any kind of way you want to?
As long as it's decent.
And so did your supervisor approach you about your hair once you got this job?
Be more specific in your
You said
question.
you got this job, and did you quit the job or you got fired?
I quit.
You quit. And you quit because of they recommend a different hairstyle.
No, that's not the reason why I quit.
Why did you quit?
Because I felt that I wanted more fulfilling work.
So where's the racism in that then? You quit because you were not fulfilled. You said that was an example of you being discriminated against.
Right, but
Now you're
that's
saying-
just something that
now
black
you're
people on a
saying you
daily
wanted to
basis
be
we have to
fulfilled.
work through.
So
I
was
had
it-
to work
Sir.
through that, right?
And that's what I'm saying about the example. It shouldn't be that hard for you to give an example. Like, and some jobs, they do have rules about hair. I was at a company before, they didn't want your hair going past your collar. So if you wanted to keep the job, you either cut it or you tuck it down the back of your shirt. That was just their company. They have an image that they want to portray. And they're going to let you know that's what it is. Now, what would be a good example is if, like what I just said, right? Say I'm black and I got hair and they tell me I got to cut it or tuck it down the back of my shirt. But I see this white guy walking around every day with his shirt going down his back. Then that could be an example that I could use. But sometimes you ask people for examples and they just don't have any good ones. I mean, and what's weird is while she's here on the show with Jesse Lee Peterson, it seems like she would have her hair in a way that whoever she was working for, it seems like she has her hair in a way that they would approve of, and she acts like it's an issue to do her hair a certain way, but she don't have it in that ponytail puff and a bang today. So, I mean, but she hasn't really given us any details who she works for. But depending upon where you work, it's like me growing up. Like I remember I was going to get like tattoos and stuff. And I remember my mom saying to me, well, be careful what tattoos you get, where you get them, piercings you get, and where you get them. Why? Because you never know what you're going to want to do in your future. The more money you make, the higher you go up in certain places. They got a code. I mean, if you're a police officer, if you're a lawyer, if you don't just see, there's a lot of jobs and careers that you just don't see people walking around looking like anything. They have a dress code, and they also have a code of how you do your hair, how much facial hair you can have. That's at a lot of places. So it's not necessarily discrimination. In cases like that, it would be like I said before. If I'm a black man and the company says you have to have your hair cut or have it tucked down your shirt, it can't be hanging down your back, and then I see them let somebody else do it, then that's a good example. But just saying a company has a dress code or how you do your hair code, how much makeup you can wear, I mean, that doesn't mean discrimination, because you have to do a comparison as they only picked on you and made you do it. And that could be the case, but she's forgetting to say it. And so therefore, it seems like she's not making a good case.
I have to conform to that.
So was
but
it racism
ultimately,
or you want to be fulfilled?
Mr. Peterson?
Wait a
it
minute,
was
I'll
an
come to you right
instance
after this.
on the job. It wasn't the final conclusion on the job.
So you quit because you wanted to be fulfilled, not because of discrimination about your hair.
Right.
But you just said that was you.
A problem.
But it had nothing to do with racism. You was not fulfilled. Why did you try to make that into racism?
But it's discrimination that we face, that all black people face on a daily basis,
But
that
you-
we have to work through, because it's like, okay, hey, am I going to tell them,
But
fuck
you
you, I'm
made-
going to wear my hair the way I want to, or am I going to work this out to the
Michelle,
next week
you're
and make sure
making
that I
this
can
up
get a
because
check?
you have not given me an example of you being discriminated against. I asked for an
think
Not
example.
valid
Like
enough
you're
for
being
you.
Both of you
boxer
are
into a
running
corner.
around crying racism.
I'm not
and
crying
yet
racism.
you haven't given me an
Can you
example.
stop doing
Hold
that?
on.
I didn't
hold on,
say
hold on.
racism,
I'm
I
just
said
asking you to stop
discrimination.
making
You
such
haven't given me an
broad
example you're being
statements.
discriminated against.
Okay.
Have you been discriminated against?
Yes, I have been discriminated
And who
against.
discriminated against
An
you?
employer discriminated against me. They asked me to cut my hair.
Was it a white man or a white
This was
person?
a
or people?
Caucasian female.
Okay, and so private job?
No,
Private-
this is a public sector job.
Okay, so you fill out the application
I filled out the application.
and you said on the app that I will follow the rules if
that
you
I
pay
would
me
follow
X
the
amount of
rules.
dollars.
Yes.
And did you have the afro at the time?
Yes, I had my afro at the time.
And they still hired you?
And they hired me.
And so you went in and they said what to you? This
That-
is a white female boss, right?
Yes,
Okay.
after
And this is a
after
government
doing a
job.
great job.
And so you go into the office, she call you in,
Yes.
and she says what to you about your hair?
She told me that I had to cut my hair, that my hair had gotten too long and looked unmanaged.
Oh, okay.
Anybody? Anybody gonna say it first? Dude, if your hair was looking how it looked now, you need to cut it. It's like, it doesn't matter if it was a white woman that said it, a black woman that said it, a green woman that said it. It doesn't. Oh my God. That does not look neat. It just doesn't. It doesn't. And you don't even have like, bro, like seriously, at least get a temp fade with it and get a nice shape up with it. You can't just have your hair all wild like that and say that's kept. That's not. Who is lying to him? You don't even have it lined up. It's just all over your head. And he probably does that to set people up, right? He goes in there and acts as if, okay, I did my hair, just to get a reaction out of somebody so that they can tell him, hey, if you don't mind, could you like cut your hair, shape it up, do something else with it? And then he pretends like they're crazy, and they're not. because people know what they're seeing. That does not look like you did your hair. And you could throw on a shirt with it, with a tie or whatever. It doesn't. That's crazy. And you still got the job. The person's just like, hey, you know, come on, get yourself together, man. Be a little bit more neat. Like, that's crazy. Have some pride and class in yourself. And I can say that because, like me, I was raised old school. Jesse sound like my granddad. Like, that's how they were. If you went down there and them people told you what they require from you to get the job, you get the job and you do what you gotta do. You make your money and you go home. That's the end of it. Ain't really too much to it. You said you willing to stay late. Them people asked you to stay late. They asked you to stay late. That's what it is. And he talking about it's discrimination or racism because somebody tell you to get yourself together because you. And I'm not trying to be funny, and I swear I don't ever try to be a disrespectful person. But if that man right there, I wouldn't even let him cut my grass. I wouldn't even trust him in front of my house. I'm just being honest, man. I'm not trying to sound mean. I'm not trying to sound evil or disrespectful or anything. That's just honestly, like honest. Somebody walk up looking at him and he's just all wild. I'm sorry. That you wouldn't just come on, man. It's like
What's wrong with that?
A lot is wrong with that.
Why? Why don't you want to look? I wouldn't hire you with that hair looking like that.
Why?
It's not. It doesn't
That's
look.
my natural hair texture.
It doesn't look professional.
Yeah, I'm not feeling this.
It doesn't look professional.
No, they're gonna leave now. We're leaving. We're leaving.
Hold on.
Yeah,
No.
you ready?
You're done, Michelle. Now you can stay, baby, and
Yeah.
I really don't know you.
Why is she?
right.
Why is she barking
You're
around?
traumatizing them.
Goodbye.
Stop letting your ass. Yeah, spectacle. Google me. My name's Jasmine Abdullah. I just sat here.
Are you her boss or something?
No, it's about black love.
Why are you
It's about
pushing her
love.
around?
And you see how they're doing this because you're hurting them.
Why are you
You're
pushing her
hurting
around?
them, and you know they don't know what to say. And you're eating
You're
them up
boxing.
right now.
You're boxing
No,
everything, and this is not an open
Why are you-
discussion
And
at
that's
all.
just hurtful. I love you. I'm not angry with you. I love you and I feel sorry for you. I feel really bad for you. I love you. You got a lot of self-hate.
Stop pushing her around.
But you got a
stop
lot
pushing
of
her around.
Don't let that lady push you around.
No lady
It's not
pushing
a-
me
no.
around because I feel more
It's
attacked
about
coming from
love.
you, right?
Yeah.
Is he stayed there because
I
he's
feel
evil?
attacked
He stayed
by
there because
you,
he's a man.
but
No, you can't punk me.
I fight.
You do.
I stand in
No, no,
my
no,
Okay,
no,
all right.
I don't know where they came from.
We agreed to have an open conversation, not to be boxed into particular.
Is this a strong woman running right now?
Well, actually, I think
Is
that's
that a
probably the
strong
best
woman
thing
running?
for her.
I know I should have,
Look,
but
we're trying to do a TV. Mark, don't engage. Continue, Michelle.
Is that a strong woman leaving?
Honestly, I think that was the best decision for her to make.
Stop letting your ass.
I think it was the best decision for her to make because she is younger than I.
Let me see. Because I don't know. And we're at the end of the video anyway. I'm just trying to see. I'm just being quiet because I'm just saying. Is Jesse crazy for saying like you should cut that? And that's what's weird is like you're not saying that you are it's not like somebody saying, hey, you're a bad worker, you're not a nice person. Nobody's saying nothing. They're just saying, bro, you should cut that and look a bit more professional. That's all. You don't even have to cut it off. Just get a shape up, do a temp fade. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like get you a nice little pattern in your head where it's even, and it can still look a little rough, and like with the little, yeah, it kind of look like you want to grow dreads but you don't want to grow dreads. It's something like that. But to just like, no, dude, it doesn't look even, nothing. It looks dry. I don't like you did really too much with it. It would look better if you would just shape it up and get a little temp fade. You know what I'm saying? A little line or something like that. So for him to say that's racism or discriminating, it's not. It's just, hey man, look a little professional. Now, that woman may not be familiar with hairstyles for us because he said it was a white woman. So she might have just said cut it, because she don't know what else he would do with it. You see what I'm saying? But somebody else definitely, like if I was his supervisor, I'd say, hey man, bro, you gonna need to get you a little shape up, get you a nice little temp fade and stuff, man, because you got nice, thick hair. You know what I'm saying? So all you need to do is shape it up, man, and stuff like my hair was never that thick. I wish like my hair had got as thick as his. Like his hair thick. You know what I'm saying? Like you could part his hair and probably still not see the scalp. You know what I'm saying? So I always wanted my hair to be thick like that. So I would tell him, hey bro, just kind of shape it up and temp fade it. And you can keep all of it. Just temp fade it. Boom. Get you your moisturizer and kind of boom. Like they're going to have to pick it out first, even it. Once they even it with that temp fade, shape it up. Go wash it, shampoo, leave-in conditioner, get your moisturizer, and get your little natural curl pattern in, which everybody curl pattern don't look the same. And then you get that nice little unique look, and then you pat it down like this, make it look like, I'm telling you, man, it hook it up. But how he has it now, it just doesn't look professional. He don't look like a bad person or nothing, but it does look unprofessional. And here's the thing. If he really, really want to think about it in a different type of way, keep that suit on, the shirt and the tie. Now, I want you to go and see if anyone would hire you to be their lawyer. If you was looking to hire your own, like a broker or something, right? And you walked in the office and he was sitting there like that with his hair like that, you would not trust him to handle your money because it just doesn't look professional. And that's the way you look at it. So, but anyway, man, not too much on him. I just think he needs a shape up, really. He can keep his hair and stuff like that. But, yeah. So anyway, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Don't forget to comment down below with any thoughts. Even if you think I'm wrong, just tell me you think I'm wrong, because I might be wrong. I don't know everything. Risky out.
Risky behavior.